I mean, I just said it with infertility, but part of me feels like, man, we could like help with this suicide epidemic of, you know, where it's like, cause I've had moments where I'm like, okay, I just share all my medical stuff on here. You're welcome. I mean, depression runs in my family. So I've been on an antidepressant med for years, and I have never had moments where I've gotten to that headspace, but it makes sense because you see dynamics happen and you're like, this is wild. Like, why would they do that? And and it makes you wonder how much of it is actually with this type of situation.
Molecular.
Like, and we're over here just
raw dogging life
with no lube.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to get that out, like, because I do think I mean, everybody has their own struggles and stuff, but personally, I believe it is a moment that it hits and comes out of nowhere. And then it happens, and that's why the rest of the world, when it happens to, you know, people, someone decides to take their own life, it's like, what? Like,
you don't understand.
I don't understand. And I don't even think they understand until it's too late. And being able to share this with people that, like, it's okay to not be okay, and you need to contact the right provider. And if you go to a provider and you're just getting put in a box, we're here to tell you, like, you don't need to be put in a box. And there's a time and place for modern medicine, but now hopefully you'll educate yourself and realize that it's all interconnected. Back again. Haley's back. Tell a friend. And we're in clinic today. Hi. Everybody say hi to Haley. So if you've lost your libido, your motivation, your edge, and everyone keeps telling you you're just stressed or you're depressed or you're aging, what if they're wrong? What if it's testosterone?
Usually is testosterone.
Weird. So today we're breaking down the hormone nobody's actually paying attention to in the right way, except for Haley. Well, I mean, there's others, but and the myths that we've all been fed about it. So welcome to the Law of Cassidy, where we talk about intimacy, business, power, healing, testosterone, vagina machines, a little bit of everything. Okay. I say the things that people are too uncomfortable to say, like on the last episode where I talk about a lip slip in your bodysuit. Everybody better have made their appointment, because nobody wants that.
Happens all the time.
So today I'm joined by the boss bitch. She's not a bitch. She's amazing. Haley. She's back. We didn't scare her away her last episode was great.
Oh yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, I was just telling Cass, I was stopped last night in a restaurant by a gal and just said, I just really enjoyed your podcast. And then I had a gal over at my house a couple weeks ago, and she's like, I had no idea that you knew Cass. I'm like, I'm with her all the time. I'm all over, but it's just kind of fun. It's crazy to see how far your reach has gone. I mean, it's unbelievable the things that you've done for people. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. And it's cool that we're here in my clinic today, and thanks, Casey, for all of it.
Yeah. You know? Well, she does all the, like, her and I just jive so well together because it is hand in hand what we do. And people loved it, and they were like, oh, I that was so educational. I just couldn't stop it. So I'm like, you know what, Haley, you're just like a co-star. Like, you're just going to have to pop in all the time. And guys, please share with me or her or the client, or like what you want to hear about, what you want to get into, because we're open to talking about all the things. So, we did this before, but people may just be listening to this episode. So a little bit about your background, why you have this clinic, before we get into all the like test talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Haley Mason. I'm an acute care nurse practitioner that decided to go hormones. Been in the hormone space. I'm taking a page out of Cassidy's book. I've been in the hormone space for 18 years. It's just something that's not really talked about. And so I'm here to talk too much about it. Background in acute care medicine, ER, ICU, cardiology. If you do your hormones appropriately and get them back to where they should be, then therefore you don't have heart disease or decrease your risk of heart disease. And so started the clinic in 2021, and we specialize in male and female health.
That was the next thing. It literally, she like answers the questions. It's like, mention working with men and women. Yep, she does. Okay. So we're going to cover today, we're going to go over what testosterone actually like what it actually does in men and women. Yes, women. The signs you might be low, some of the myths, because we love those, because they get you nice and fired up, and how this hormone is quietly impacting marriage,
Yeah.
mood,
Yeah.
motivation, all the things.
Yeah.
So we're going to go women, men, get into all the fun stuff. So let's start with women.
Okay.
I'm going to share what my thoughts were about testosterone before I have been on testosterone now. I don't know, long ass time, forever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And
4 years.
and it's
Yeah.
it's great. I thought testosterone meant you were turning into a bodybuilder. I thought I was going to grow a clitoris the size of a penis. I thought I was going to have a really deep voice and like it was gonna like make me super masculine and people would know like, oh, she's juicing on the test, man. Like, so I was like, what do you mean you want to put me on testosterone? I thought I was going to have water weight. I thought I was going to have all the jazz. So that's what I thought. I'm sure some of you are listening and are like, oh yeah, that's what I think too. So Haley, let's talk about women first.
Yeah.
Testosterone, what it does, how they need it, all the things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So testosterone, a big myth, like I want to start there is, everybody thinks that testosterone is a male hormone, right? And yeah, males do carry the abundance of testosterone, but women have it as well. Now, fun fact with testosterone is it usually peaks during childbearing ages. So that's why our libido is usually the best. Like back in the day, again, we were having kids real young, right? Like let's talk about it. Like we were getting married at like what, 13 to 15.
My mom got married at 18.
Yeah,
had
like
a baby at 20.
Yeah, but even like 100 years ago, right? We're getting married really young and those types of things. So our libido, our max of where we crave sex and intimacy the most is usually from about 19 to about 29 to 30, right? And that's like whoever's way is upstairs, whatever you believe in. That's their way of making sure that we procreate, right? We have more babies and those types of things. Yes. So testosterone is supposed to be in a female. Absolutely. Testosterone is what keeps us strong, keeps our muscle mass there. It keeps our overall energy there. It helps with our climax and sensitivity. You have a baby, right? Love the little critters, love them to death, but man, they wreak some havoc on us.
Crotch gremlins, man.
Exactly. Those crotch gremlins. They'll get you every time. So what happens is after we have that baby, testosterone is what the body uses for repair and regrow of muscle tissue, right?
Oh.
So we have that baby, testosterone is used in abundance to try to heal us.
Yeah.
Any type of injury that we have, testosterone goes to that site and is like, okay, I'm supposed to repair this. Testosterone's a natural anti-inflammatory agent. So after you have one baby, if you have two at once, forget about it. Your testosterone's gone, right? Like that's a lot of repair that it's got to do. And so after we have that baby, testosterone's used up. Then all of a sudden our libido's gone.
Yeah.
We're like, before I had my baby, I had like amazing libido, right? Because we had a testosterone in abundance. And so that's where maybe, the second time we get pregnant, we're not healing as great and things aren't snatching back up like it should. It's because that abundance of testosterone is gone. There is a select few population of females that actually are testosterone dominant, but not in the way that it's available to access. So that's something that's called polycystic ovarian syndrome.
That makes sense.
Right. So polycystic ovarian syndrome, most people just think that it's, we got to look like a linebacker. So we got to be 6'5", 240 pounds.
Yep.
We have to have a beard,
Hair
those
on the
types of
chin.
things,
Yep.
right? And it's because actually what happens with PCOS, people don't talk about it. We actually have an abundance of free testosterone in our body. The total testosterone is what we are bound, what's in our bloodstream, what's bound. That's the when it's the free testosterone comes into contact with a protein, makes a total. Most PCOS women, we have high androgen or high testosterone, but it's free. It's not a total. So sometimes people will be like, well, if I have a lot of testosterone, shouldn't I have amazing libido? Not necessarily, not if it's doing its job, like not if it's not doing its job. So
it's kind of almost like floating around, not attaching to
correct,
something.
because it needs its other binding agent to do what it should for us, right? And so that's where testosterone, that free testosterone, if it can't bind to what it's supposed to do and go down that pathway, it comes out in our skin. That's why we got the acne. That's why we got the hair growth. You know, that's why we'll actually start to lose testosterone on the top of our head, because that's male pattern balding, because we have a bunch of free testosterone coming out other ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's one patient population of women, PCOS women. We have high testosterone, but not in any way that it matters. Does that make sense? It just causes issues for us. So most of the time, like with my clinic, and I say PCOS because I'm a PCOS girl. Like I say I have PCOS. I've had it for a long time. Had it my whole life. It's not just something that comes on so suddenly. I actually got to the point where I had to start replacing my testosterone.
Okay.
So I started acting like a normal woman. So then my free testosterone was bound, and it wasn't enough for me. So I actually replaced testosterone now, right? Do I look like a man? Am I growing anything that I'm not innately born with? No.
I mean, her big toe's a little intense. Just kidding.
Got a big toe, you know,
just kidding.
that thumper down there. So, but no, so now I actually replaced my testosterone. So again, you know, you can have innately high testosterone, but not be able to capitalize on that, because if you are dealing with polycystic ovarian syndrome and having those symptoms, we need to like push that testosterone down the right pathway, right? And then just normal women, after we have a couple kids or an extreme injury or stress, right? That will plummet your testosterone. Because think about testosterone as like your natural fighter, right? It feels like something's wrong in the body. It's going to go to that area. But if we're not creating as much testosterone, or as we age, or we've had these injuries or babies or stress, we don't have that natural defense. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so testosterone is actually extremely beneficial for women, because it's what keeps us strong. It's what keeps those muscles strong. It's what keeps those bones strong. So you see this little 7-year-old woman, if she falls and breaks a hip, it's game over, right?
Yeah.
It's game over.
That makes sense.
So the goal of aging is to age gracefully and be strong. That's why there's such this emphasis on weighted vests and ankle weights and resistance training, right? It's not like they have to go and put their body through a bodybuilding competition.
No. It's
just about keeping those muscles strong and replacing what we had in order to be strong.
So then when they do have those injuries, it's not like life altering.
Yeah. So a lot of women, especially if they're like, oh man, I got to get my shoulder redone, or, I just had my last baby and I'm done. I'm going to actually crank up their testosterone a little bit to help that repair and rego. And of course, yes, testosterone does increase our libido. It's a side effect of testosterone replacement, a very pleasant one, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But so that's why testosterone, it needs to be talked about more in females, because it is normal. It's normal to have testosterone, but unfortunately it doesn't last very long. And there's a couple of things that can really bottom about.
So mine was stress and a kid.
And all of the things that you did with your bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I think it's admirable. I've said this before. I think it's amazing what you guys go through, because it's such hard work.
But it's so bad on your body.
Yeah, but it plummets your body's natural reservoirs of these crucial hormones.
Because it's such intense dieting. It puts your body into such a mode of stress. And usually people that do it, they do it and they continue to do it for years. Yeah. And so then your body's in that fight or flight mode of that stress of cutting and over exerting it, and it just tanks and
it'll
plummets.
catch up to you.
So the other thing that I kind of want to dabble in a little bit was this PCOS dynamic, because you're right. I think there's just this box. I love a box. No. So there's this box,
especially recent boxes.
Yeah, box. Okay. we have a box, and the box is normally, look like a linebacker, but I think and I could be wrong, I'm not a medical professional, but just stuff I've learned from you and experiences of other people. I think there's a lot of women out there that actually are PCOS sufferers, and they are little or lean, thin, or they're dealing with infertility dynamics. So I think that's something too. If you have somebody that comes in, let's figure out somebody like that you're like, oh, it's PCOS. And then they look at you do you have a dynamic like that that's happened before?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. So a lot of people, the good thing about the internet is the research, right? That's out there and all these things. And so people are talking about it and they're like, I think I have PCOS, right? And they go to their doctor. They haven't had, let's talk about the ones that haven't had to try to get pregnant yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the medical world, there's 3 different things that you need in order to diagnose PCOS. Okay. Textbook things, right? Okay. And this is where this box sits. And I'm like, it's so far gone. Yeah, I don't like boxes. So you have to have extra hair growth. Okay. You have to be overweight, and you have to have infertility. Okay. They used to say that you would want to confirm polycystic ovarian syndrome with a vaginal ultrasound showing cysts on the ovaries. They have so far debunked that because lo and behold, you can or you cannot have cysts. You can still have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Really, it's a misnomer. It's a disease of the pancreas. So we're going to talk about that. So they need to find a new term for it, to tell you the truth. They're kind of moving more towards metabolic syndrome, but metabolic syndrome still fits in those three boxes, which drives me nuts. So a lot of these females, that come to see me, they've been working their butt off. They've been trying to lose weight. They don't understand why they have, this horrible acne, this hair growth. Some of them, though, are 100 pounds so sopping wet. They have no acne. Their skin's beautiful, the most beautiful skin I've ever seen. However, they've got all of the other symptoms with sugar food cravings. They have difficulty with anxiety and depression. They've got all these different things, and nobody's deeming them PCOS because they could be 100 pounds. You know what I mean? So, and it happens all the time, like where these little gals come in, and let's talk about the other side of this is they're like, why am I not getting pregnant? Like I look great. I have no acne. I eat well. I exercise. I do all these things. My periods are weird, right? All of a sudden they're like no rhyme or reason to their periods. And it's because those people have polycystic ovarian syndrome where the high testosterone is interfering with the chemical signaling of when to ovulate. And so that's why if you don't ovulate, you're not going to bleed. Yeah. Right. So that's why a period could be, oh, well, I bled twice 1 month and the next month I didn't bleed at all. And then I bled, 3 months down the road and my periods make no rhyme or reason. It's because we're missing that ovulation there to facilitate that whole cycle. And so when I tell people there's a couple different arms of PCOS, I like to say there's two big arms of PCOS. There's the reproductive side, which could be cis or could not be cis. Okay. Like your cis can form depending on where you're at in your cycle. So it's not really fair to do a vaginal ultrasound one day out of the month and be like, you don't have cis, you don't have PCOS.
Yeah, that's true.
That drives me nuts. So there could or could not be cis. There's usually low progesterone. So usually something with the menstrual cycles are different, meaning heavy periods, heavy cramping, no periods, so it could be a bunch of gamut things. But then the other arm of PCOS is actually a lot of endocrine things. It's thyroid, it's insulin resistance, because truly it's what the insulin's doing that's counteracting the some of those other chemical messengers that tell our body what cycle we should be doing. Okay. And so when somebody comes in, I mean, they're sometimes they can be as blatantly obvious as I can call it on the street, right? I see them walking into the clinic. I'm like, all right, that girl's going to need PCOS, right? Because they do have the typical, they're a little bit overweight. They've got the bad skin, that kind of thing. But there's more often than not, there's over 500 symptoms of PCOS. So why are we diagnosing based off of 3 things?
Or there's people I know that have PCOS, but can get pregnant by sneezing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe the reproductive side of PCOS isn't the issue, but why the heck can't they lose weight?
Yeah, that's
why they have postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Right. Like what else is going on? And it's because most women are low in progesterone with PCOS. That's why we have the reproductive problems and we're more prone to anxiety and depression. So anyway, so PCOS is a big prevalency and it's deemed as excess androgens, right? Or more think of that as being estrogen dominant, testosterone dominant. All women should be progesterone dominant so we don't have all the problems, right? And so, but that's why it's missed a lot, that PCOS is.
Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because I've seen all ends of the spectrum. This next question may be controversial, but that's who I am. Do you feel as if hormone replacement therapy, HRT or
BHRT.
BHRT, sorry. What's the B stand for?
Bioidentical hormone
Thank
replacement
you. I totally work here, not really. We're at your clinic. Could disrupt the infertility business.
So And you know what, there's like I said on your previous podcast, there's a time and a place for modern medicine, right? We all need all the different subspecialties. But the problem is it's not about just getting the patient pregnant. It's about maintaining that pregnancy, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of times where people are just like, well, I'm not getting pregnant. I'm not getting pregnant. I'm not getting pregnant. I got to go to infertility.
And it's a process. They make you wait. I had to wait 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And so what's the worst thing that you can do to a woman that wants to get pregnant right now when you go to an infertility clinic?
Come back in 2 years.
Yeah. I need you to do this for 2 more years.
Yeah. And it's a chore.
What?
Like I sat with my butt against the wall with my feet in the air. I did every like thing, like stay in their sperm. Like I did everything. Like, and then it was like, we have to right now. Like took the temperature, like, and it just,
it's just too much. Yeah, it's too much. So my goal, like I would prefer, to do all of the work, right? Like, especially if I get a gal in here that maybe not want to have kids right now, I'm going to say to her, I need a minute to get you functioning the way that you should before you want to have children. This is very preventative to get your cycles right, to get your body right so that you may be able to have the children, right? I'll have it all the time where it's backwards, where they've already gone through infertility and they keep miscarrying. So then they're going to come to me and I'm like, God, if they would have just kept him on progesterone, 9-day difference, they could have maintained that pregnancy, But again, it's the infertility specialist's job to get you pregnant, not maintain that pregnancy. Yes, exactly. So there's definitely a disconnect there. I do unfortunately feel like, it's like $400 to come and see me and it's $20,000 to go through IVF. And so, there's definitely like a component of money marketing there, unfortunately, but I mean, it's a pharmaceutical world, unfortunately, I mean,
I wonder if my dynamic would have been different when I was trying to get pregnant with Jobs, right?
Oh yeah.
And it definitely takes a toll on you because that's kind of almost part of your identity as a female is that you're able to, get pregnant.
Oh yeah, because that's normal, right? That's how we're normally supposed to be. But like I said last time, there's more abnormal than normal. 8 out of 10 women have PCOS, right? And so, and again, that testosterone is there. It's ready for you to use. Just some other chemical messengers in your body are not allowing it to bind to its true form. So you can capitalize on having high testosterone. You got to push it down that right pathway.
See, I mean, Haley's my best friend and I learned stuff every time I talk to her. Like I was like, I've heard her say like free testosterone, but I'm like, now I like really get it. It's just like free. It's just
floating around. Just has
to
come out somewhere else other than where it should. That's why we get the acne in the hair and all the things.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about men for a minute and then we're going to get deep into it. So talk about men and testosterone.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is, so again, with men, testosterone can be hindered by many things. I get this questioned all the time. They're like, I am 32 years old. Why is my testosterone, the lowest optimal range, basically? And again, it can come from high stress. So a big population that I'm really comfortable with, like we talked about last time, I treat a lot of our EMS first responders, right? Yeah. So police, firemen, dispatch, nurses, those types of things.
Stressful jobs.
Yeah, stressful jobs where, especially with the firemen and the policemen, their sleep-wake cycle is disturbed a lot, right? Or they're working really wonky shifts, graves, swings, back and forth, that kind of thing. So that can disrupt testosterone. That can lower testosterone. Fight or flight, so high cortisol can lower testosterone. And remember, when we have low testosterone as a male, we can really struggle with a lot of midsection weight because cortisol is now overpowering, and cortisol thinks that, cortisol in our body is our fight or flight, right? There's a bear chasing us. What are we going to protect? What's the most vital thing in our body? Our midsection, right? So cortisol shunts all of our fat to protect our midsection because that's our most vital organs. So unfortunately, a male with testosterone deficiency doesn't know the difference between there's a bear around the corner and I just have low testosterone. Yeah. So the body will really change. You'll see the body composition completely change that way. So I see that a lot again with those high stress jobs. But it also is, I see it in my farmers, right? My farmers that are outside all day long, they're sweating all day long, they're working their butts off. But those are some very like tough cookies, right?
Yeah, those farmers don't like doctors.
No,
their arms like falling off. They're just like stitching it with like string they found on the ground. Yeah. Those country boys are some next level, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I've got tons and tons of farmers and different things that and I'll get like a 19-year-old and I'll get an 80-year-old from the same family. And I'm like, oh, so you've had low testosterone since you were 19.
Yeah.
And so testosterone is to men how they sleep, eat, function, feel, all of the things. So like, especially with mental health, right? So again, back to my EMS, my first responders, the number one cause of death now is suicide. Yeah. It's no longer heart disease, it's suicide. Yeah. And it's because when males have low testosterone, they literally lose their identity. They lose that ability to cope, right? Testosterone is what's like, okay, the world's falling apart, but I still feel okay because the testosterone's there. And so big things that I see in my clinic, all ages of men, whether I'm replacing straight up testosterone or tricking their body into making their own testosterone, right? Because we have to decide what to do there. Anxiety, depression starts to go away, overall motivation. So when people think, oh, testosterone is just to build muscle, I'm like, no, that's just a benefit, right? Yeah. Like the true nitty gritty is higher cholesterol comes along with low testosterone. Heart disease comes along with low testosterone. Changes in personality come along with low testosterone. So it's literally the driving force for a male.
So it's so funny you say heart disease because, and he doesn't care. I'm throwing him under the bus because he's my husband and he doesn't care.
We love Yoshi.
Love you, Joshy. Josh drove me nuts because he drove you nuts. I mean, this isn't a HIPAA violation. I'm talking about it. Fire me. Okay. So he would have moments, and I think a lot of men do this where they're like, oh, I'm doing great. And then they read something on the internet and they're like, it's going to cause me heart disease. Like, that myth around testosterone and heart disease.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm dealing with the mental health side effects of it because it is. And it's like when Josh finally gave in and stuck with his treatment process, right? Because let me ask you this question. This is just off the cusp. Do you feel like men or women are worse with following through with their treatment when they come to you?
Men.
1,000%. That's what I was going to say.
Every day. Men are like, I love men. I'm married to one, obviously, but man, those guys are stubborn as hell. Like, I don't know what the deal is.
So they just feel, and I also think it's connected because thanks for the shit. I love testosterone. I think that's also the mental health problem with men and they don't talk about it and they don't deal with it. So I think that sharing that will help a lot of men realize, like, if shit ain't right, bros, call Haley. Like, Josh leveled
or
out so
any
much.
Other provider. Any other provider.
But I'm telling you to call Haley. Okay, thanks. Anyways, but like, they don't realize that their angry outbursts, their pulling back, their just no motivation,
overall how they feel about themselves in life in general, and you're right, there is this taboo, especially, again, sorry, I keep referring back to that first responder, but like, they're supposed to be big and tough, right? They're not supposed to feel run down. They're not supposed to, and it goes with our family, like the male of the household. I'm supposed to be the male of the household. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be this. And they don't understand, like, it's not because you're weak. It's not because something's wrong with you. This is your biological time clock. And you never know when that time clock is going to start ticking down the wrong way, like, and it doesn't make you less of a man to get help if you're not feeling like yourself. Like, we need you guys to be the best versions of yourself. We need you, Yeah. And so, like, break through that shell, man. Don't be afraid.
And find a safe place. And I mean, I just said it with infertility, but part of me feels like, man, we could like help with this suicide epidemic of, where it's like, cause I've had moments where I'm like, okay, I just share all my medical stuff on here. You're welcome. I mean, depression runs in my family. So I've been on an antidepressant med for years and I have never had moments where I've gotten to that headspace, but it makes sense because you see dynamics happen and you're like, this is wild. Like, why would they do that? And and it makes you wonder how much of it is actually with this type of situation.
Molecular.
Yeah. Like, and we're over here just
raw dogging life
with no lube.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to get that out. Like, because I do think everybody has their own struggles and stuff, but personally I believe it is a moment that it hits and it's comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then it happens. And that's why the rest of the world, when it happens to, you know,
people,
someone decides to take their own life. It's like, what? Like,
yeah, you don't understand.
I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think they understand until
Mm-mm.
it's too late.
Yeah.
And being able to share this with people that like, it's okay to not be okay. And you need to contact the right provider. And if you go to a provider and you're just getting put in a box, we're here to tell you, like, you don't need to be put in a box.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
there's a time and place for modern medicine, but now hopefully you'll educate yourself and realize that it's all interconnected.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause like, I mean, I'll use Matt, for example, you know, my husband, he would not touch mental health medications with a 10-foot pole because there's this huge taboo around him, unfortunately, you know? And like, again, there's a time and a place for it. But when I tell him like, okay, well, I need to make sure your testosterone is okay then, right? Oh, you mean that I can feel good? You mean that I can have good energy and I'm not going to be a zombie and it's not going to affect my, you know, performance? Because a lot of those mental health medications can come along with some erectile dysfunction. If you tell a guy that that's a possible side effect of any medication, they won't touch it with a 10-foot pole because that is how they identify. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just don't, you know, if somebody looks at this and says, oh, you're in a normal range, remember like what we always say, normal versus optimal, right? Yeah. If it's in a normal range, but you feel these things, it's not your optimal. And that's where it's dismissed a lot. And it's not like we're, you know, and I want to say this, it's not like we're pumping people through, you know, of testosterone of like superhuman levels. No. It's literally just about getting that opposite end of the range where we're high normal, right? And so it's like, no, we're not going to roid rage. We're not going to lose all our hair. We're not going to do, it's like, you guys, testosterone is good. You're supposed to have it in abundance. And if you're starting to not feel like yourself, men are easy. Women have a few extra parts. Men are easy. All you need is testosterone and you're good.
Just another clickaroonie.
Yeah, exactly.
Add an extra click.
Yeah,
we'll talk
there
about
you
that
go.
in a minute. Okay, myths. Women, testosterone will not make you bulky. No, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
Correct.
It makes
I look bulky?
Yeah, bulky bitch.
I would like to be a little bit bulkier, but no, and trust me, my testosterone's higher than most men's.
I know. I was like, okay, Haley's like, we're gonna. I'm like, really? Like, I still, even though I know I'm educated, but then you tell me what you're on, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, Haley's just like raw dogging the testosterone, man. She's just like deep in it.
It's a natural anti-inflammatory agent, man.
Yeah,
makes
and it helps
good.
heal stuff. Like, part of me wants to. Shout out to my brother. He just got full shoulder replacement. His shoulder, like he couldn't even like raise his arm. And part of me is like, I might call him after this and be like, you need to call Haley. You probably need to get on some, cause he's talked about it. And I'm like, you guys need to see, like, he lives in Lehigh and I'm like, she'll telehealth you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I think that would be helpful for him. He just had full shoulder replacement. Poor guy. Anyways. Okay. Focus. I was going to say something and now I don't remember. Hate it when that happens.
Sorry, we're talking about your myths.
Meds. Okay. Low libido is just motherhood. I fucking hate that.
Oh yeah, no. So low libido is not just motherhood. I will say that, you know, we've talked about this before. Women are very emotional. creatures and men are very physical. Hence why when low testosterone, physically things don't work for men. When women have low testosterone, it's just another tick in that box that makes it harder for us to want to be a sexual creature, right? But no, like, there is some science to it that it is after motherhood, it can plummet your testosterone because of it needing to repair those muscles and tissues. But it's also, you know, stress, right? Especially our first time new mommies. Like, we're a little stressed out. I mean, I watched Luke. I slept with my hand on him. You know, talk about the stress. And I was already medical by then. I know better, you know, but that mom instinct. So yes, a part of that is, it does come with motherhood, but it's not because you can't keep up with motherhood. It's literally a biological change in your body. Your testosterone is now repaired that tissue, so you don't have any extra. You know, it's not just in your head. Yeah. And that fight or flight dynamic too. It's like being, when it comes to emotional, which that makes sense. It's like feeling safe too, and emotional safety, that definitely has a big dynamic on. I educate on that all the time. Like, Okay. If labs are normal, you're fine. That is a box, and we don't like boxes. So that is a myth that we're like, we want optimal. Yes. Yep. So again, if you listen to your patients long enough, they will tell you what's wrong with them.
Oh, you have to listen. Weird.
You have to listen to them. This is my biggest pet peeve, and I use this example all the time. On blood work, they're asking your age, your gender, and your name. Okay, that's it. That is it. Not even a BMI is on there. Nothing, right?
Okay.
And so we all get this, normal total testosterone for a lot of different companies with lab work is 2 to 45. So apparently after 30 years old, if we come back at 10, we're not supposed to crave intimacy, have good lean muscle mass, or have a good energy, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I say that, my testosterone is 1200. 120.
I told you she was raw dogging it, dude.
1200. So then that's where I feel well.
Yeah.
That's where my libido is good. That's where my body doesn't hurt. That's where I have the good energy.
I don't even know where mine is. You just tell me I'm good.
Yeah. It's about symptoms as well, right? So if we're having a lot of body pain, if we're having a lot of injuries, our testosterone's not where it should be.
Yeah.
And instead of eating up our stomach with NSAIDs, Celebrex, those types of things, just replace testosterone.
Yeah. Weird.
So
men myths. TRT is steroids.
oh my God. Okay. So yeah. So there are different types of testosterone. Yes, they're all outside of our body and we're putting them back in. So they are a replacement therapy.
Don't we do that with all meds though?
We do it with all
just
medications.
checking.
Or we're blocking receptor sites to make those medications or those certain chemicals in our body more effective, right? And so a big thing that I always want to get through is testosterone replacement therapy. It can decrease a male's sperm count, correct?
Okay.
So when somebody comes into me, one of our initial consultations, we always talk about family planning. We say, where are we at with family planning? Are we done having kids? Do we want kids? Those types of things. Now, because there's always a possibility that straight up testosterone replacement therapy can decrease that sperm count, but it's not all the time. Just like I said, we are all different. We all don't fit in this box. So there's different ways that you can tell your body, hey, you're not producing enough. You need to, without hindering that capability of having sperm count, right? Yeah. Again, like a really optimal range for testosterone for males, a total testosterone should be at least greater than 1,000 to protect against heart disease.
Not give you heart disease.
Correct. There's multiple studies now on testosterone replacement therapy, reversing chronic kidney disease, reversing IBS, Crohn's, colitis, helping those things because of the anti-inflammatory agent in it, right? And a free testosterone for males, depending on the lab, with Quest, which is a very common one, it should be over 150. Because again, you want a lot of free testosterone. So then if you do have an energy or an injury, your body can utilize that to build that protein to help heal, right? So you have to look at both things. So when somebody says, oh, well, my total's at 400, most of the time the free is going to be gone. Because if you had higher free, you could possibly build higher total, correct? So that's where it's missed a lot too, is both those things need to be looked at.
Okay. So it's not steroids, gentlemen.
It's not steroids.
Tell your mom it's not steroids.
I mean, there are, if you get it from the black market and you're getting it from a gym buddy, God bless you. I hope you don't have a
grow
heart
an
attack.
arm out of your butt cheek. That's your own fault.
Exactly. Well, and the hard part with that too is a lot of times they don't understand that testosterone breaks down into estrogen. So yes, men need estrogen. That's what makes you feel good. Estrogen is what ultimately protects your bones and your heart and your brain for males and females. Their just main molecular component is testosterone breaking down into estrogen. So we don't block estrogen. We don't block estrogen unless you want to have a heart attack, because estrogen. That's
interesting. And I hate to even put people in a box, but that kind of makes sense why bodybuilders all of a sudden.
So I love this. There was this main guy who was around and everybody knew him from the gym. He goes into an arm wrestling competition.
Arm wrestling?
Oh yeah, arm wrestling. So you can clearly tell that this dude does way too much, because too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Okay. Yeah. There's a very sweet range. Anyway, goes into this arm wrestling. The dude snaps his bone, snaps it against this guy that's a third of his size. And it's because he was blocking his estrogen. You cannot block estrogen because then you're just going to get swollen muscles. You're not going to get full strength.
Yeah.
So, and that's where impotence comes from. So all of a sudden we get a limp member.
Limpy
Things aren't working, and because estrogen is what we're needed for that sensitivity and that blood flow.
Okay. Yeah. All right. If you need it, you're weak. Myth.
Oh, totally weak. Totally weak myth.
It's just a it's man pumping chest.
Yes. Yes. It's just a total myth. Because like it's, people are, especially with men, they're like, I don't want to be on something forever.
They all say that.
I know. I'm like, dude.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't understand.
But it makes you feel good.
You drink water every day.
Yeah. Like why wouldn't you drink the water?
Food.
Yeah. I always say, you don't have to stay on testosterone forever, but your symptoms will come back.
Yeah. You'll feel like garbage.
I never have anybody stop. Because then if they stop, they're like, oh, this is how I used to feel. I don't like this.
You don't have anybody stop. Or they do stop and then they finally figure their shit out and then they never stop.
Yeah. Yeah. If I have people call and be like, I'm just going to take a break. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'll never force
Hear
anybody.
from you in 2 months.
Yeah. I'll see. It's usually a little bit faster. They're like, just kidding. Can you send me my prescription? I'm like, absolutely.
Man. It's just, I don't know why.
But it's just part of the aging process. But again, you need to choose if you're going to age gracefully or if you want to be in a wheelchair. Yeah. No. You choose.
I want to be like that bro that's like 97 still,
like
those farmers, like they're still like chugging it out,
they're
man.
Killing it. And they really like, again, the more you use your muscle, the longer it's going to stay, right? Yeah. Like most guys, when their testosterone comes back, and I'm pretty pleasantly surprised that it's maybe like 600 and they're, 65 years old. I'm like, what do you do? They're like, oh no, I exercise every single morning. Yeah. You've got to keep a really good handle on your body, but you're fighting for your life. Like it's a lot harder to keep your body healthy without supplementation after a certain age.
I mean, people take freaking vitamins. I don't know why they're so weirded out.
I know.
And that leads into that only old men have low T.
No. So, I had a 26-year-old boy. Did I say boy? Because I'm old now. I had a 26-year-old little man.
We're referring to 26-year-old as boy. We're old.
Yeah, because we're getting there. Anyway, had him come in, extreme depression, anxiety, midsection fat, and we drew a testosterone of 106 on him. 106. Again, normal to the lab is 250 to 1100. We want to be that optimal side of normal. So with him, he actually didn't have his children yet. So we had to discuss different ways of increasing his testosterone. At that point in time, his mental health was so debilitating that it was, because we do have certain ways of bringing sperm count back, not always effective. So I go through that and things, but it was worth him replacing testosterone because his mental health was so bad, and so he was on testosterone therapy for about 4 or 5 years, met a cute gal, they got married. We did a semen analysis. His sperm count was a little bit lower. So I did HCG injections, Clomid, that kind of thing. He has 3 healthy kids and he's back on testosterone, so like, but again, he wasn't even dating back when he was 26.
Because his mental health was
he wanted to sleep. He wanted to sleep and he wanted to go out with his friends. He didn't want to do anything besides work and sleep. That's it. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh man, he was acting like he was 70 already, you know, and he hadn't even lived life yet.
And I don't think people realize that mental health is so linked to that testosterone.
Oh yeah. It is how a male feels about themselves, like from every angle.
It's like every primal dynamic right there.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to talk about, marriage and power dynamics and when people are married and you see married couples and what that looks like. So what happens when both partners are low and they're married?
Divorce. Just kidding. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I've like, I've had a lot of people say like, this is our last ditch effort. Like we've got to get on the same page or we're going to have to make changes in our life. And they think it's because they're no longer in love with each other. Right. And no, we still love each other. We just don't crave that intimacy that's so important. It's the putty between the bricks of a home, right? Yeah. You want to keep your house strong. You have got to have that intimacy. And so it's, usually, like we said, it's most often than not, it's the female that seeks help first, right? Yeah. And so I'll get the female feeling good, everything's great. And then she finally, either the male sees the change and he can't keep up with her, or he's like, just like, okay, I want to help too. I want to be I want to be healthy. And so they'll come in together, and I love it because they'll tell on each other, you know, like I love it when the couples come in together because they're like, her sex drive is low again, or he's been moody again. Like they will full on throw each other in the bus in front of me because they know we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time that it doesn't take much. It just takes a little bit of testosterone to get that molecular level. And then if they do the coaching, you know, like pay attention to what you're saying on your social media and do these little things. Cause like I said, females are emotional creatures. Females have to feel that connection. Yeah. They don't just have to be horny, right? No. They have to have that intimate connection emotionally. Yep. And so that's why I think yours and I, you know, what we do in the world really partners well together, because you do have to have both those things for a female. Males, whatever, we could be fighting and then males, we could be fighting, the wind gusts them and it's like game on for them, right? They don't give a shit if the dishes weren't done, but females are a little bit different. I do love it when Josh is like, Haley, like Cass needs more tests, like she needs a nap. She needs a nap. She needs you to pick up the dishes and watch Jovi for a second is what she needs. He just thinks I need to just pound it out 14 times a week. Okay. Can hormones impact rejection loops? But I think we kind of just like rejection when it comes to intimacy, like sex. Oh, like I think a lot of women deal with like, I'm broken or something's wrong with me, but they need the emotional support, but they also need the hormonal support. That's why I think it is really cool that you do that dynamic where you meet with both. Oh yeah. Because I think, well, and like, you know, like Danielle was talking to you too, once things, you know, and we've all been there. All of a sudden, you know, our husband touches us and we love him to death, but maybe things don't get wet, you know, lubricated the way that they should. Then all of a sudden you're scared because then you're in your head, right? You're like, oh God, am I going to get wet? Am I not going to get wet? Is he going to think that something's wrong because I'm not getting lubricated? I freaking hate that. I tell everyone that doesn't matter. You just need lube. Don't be a jackwagon. It doesn't matter. And things start to change so much, like especially after 30s for females. That's why our prime is, you know, 19 to 26. And so when things start to change, I think then we get in our head and then it even makes us more emotionally distant from our husbands, right? So if we can replace testosterone and it makes lubrication a little bit easier, you know, you should still be using a lubricant, like for the love, please, for your future self, use a lubricant. And it doesn't matter. Like if she wants a lube, like leave your ego at the door. Oh yeah. Oh like if you think a lube means it doesn't, it's. Oh yeah. No, it's actually even more fun because it takes that psychological process out of it. Right. Yeah. So then the female's able to relax because we're in our heads so much. Right. Yeah. So like, oh, we got the lube there. Like, great. Then all of a sudden it's like a watery, slippery slope because we're relaxed. The lube's there and our natural lubrication is there as well, you know? And so yes, testosterone does help facilitate that lubrication a little bit more. Men side of things, when you're low in testosterone, that's what makes your unit work. So then all of a sudden, the one time that men are not able to perform or get an erection, they're in their heads every single time. So then even so even with me, like when I start men on testosterone and if they've experienced that issue, I have to tell them, you have got to get out of your head because you've got everything there now, but you're so worried about it. It's mind over matter and you're causing this problem to happen. Right. Yeah. And so, but it's nice to know, like, sometimes it is psychological. Like, even if guys' testosterones look amazing when they come in, they're like, no, something's wrong with my testosterone because I can't get an erection. I'll be like, okay. You can't get an erection because you're literally telling yourself you can't get an erection. Exactly. I'm like, here's a little smidgen of, I could give them a freaking sugar pill. And all of a sudden they're like, I'm taking testosterone. Everything works. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys. Sugar, bro. Yeah. Like you've got to get it. Now. Yeah. You've got to get out of your head that way. But again, when things do, most often than not, when things stop working appropriately, it is lower testosterone. Because remember, after 35, men lose testosterone per year, 1 to 3% of their testosterone, right? And so it's usually has something to do with that for sure. But it is one of the telltale signs. Like you want to get ahead of it before it stops working, because then remember, if you have low testosterone, you can have cholesterol buildup. Cholesterol is not just in our heart, it's in every major artery. What causes the blood flow to the penis, right, is a major artery. And so we want to get on top of that before you have a cloggage in the pipe, right? Like we want to decrease that risk even more. Cloggage in the pipe. Yeah. But there's so many men that deal with ED and it's so, and I think that's why it's important to
work with somebody like a Haley and also be comfortable in your communication dynamic with your partner.
Yeah.
I think people can't, I'm like, you're literally like bumping uglies and you can't talk about when the uglies are having issues. Like we need to change that. Like we need to be able to like.
Well, in women, it's the same thing as when men can't perform or get an erection, they think something's wrong with them.
And it has,
So it's both ways, right?
Totally. Cause she's not wet. So he thinks something's wrong with him. He can't, and
And then all of a sudden there's problems because we're like, you're not attracted to me anymore. Like, and then you start spiraling. So it's like,
well, and that same mental thing happens with, PE, premature ejaculation. Is it that also is part of that. And that's why I teach on, the process of like edging and like actually, yes, I tell men to masturbate. Dun, dun, dun. Right. But it is like, it's like understanding your body, understanding, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and working through that, but it is very mental.
Oh yeah. Very, very much so.
Which is another reason why you need testosterone, because it keeps your mental clarity and health and everything prime. Weird.
Absolutely.
Okay. So optimal with versus normal. We went over that. I feel like, timeline for results. Like how long does it take when we're,
so again, everybody's an individual, right? So I never like say, okay, within 2 days or 2 weeks, you're going to be feeling like $1 million because everybody's levels are different too. Right. So, my level's at 1200. If another female got to 1200, maybe they can't do anything besides sex, right? That's all they want.
Maybe we should try that with me.
Yeah, exactly. Just full send it. Full send.
No, I wouldn't work.
But the thing is it's not about timing. It's about when you get your levels where they need to be for you as an individual, right? Because again, I can say I want a female's testosterone higher than 200. That's baseline because the research shows me that that's where we're having that muscular protection. So that's minimum. That doesn't mean when we get to 200, we feel great. So it could be like with me, I didn't feel anything until 1200. That's where I felt well. So it's hard to say a timeline of when it's going to kick in. It's not a matter of if, it's when you get to the level that you need to be at as an individual for male and female.
I'm like evaluating right now. I'm like, maybe I need to add a click.
And that's easy, right? So again, this is what a female application of testosterone looks like. I am like, this about me. I'm super picky about who we use. I'm an OCD, ADD, control freak, type A personality. And so I only use who I know is actually going to metabolize levels and who's a good brand. But anyways, this is what a toppy click looks like, right? And so most people are like, what goes into having to replace testosterone? Where does that go? Like what happens here? And really it's just like a deodorant looking thing, right? So we can do one click. We apply it to the upper inner thigh or directly to the labia.
I do the labia because I did on the thigh and then I was turned into Chewbacca.
I
was getting a little dark hair patch and I was like, and I did laser hair, got rid of it. Don't panic. But I was like, you know what? We're just going to slab that on the labia. So I just put it there.
Because if you do get it in the same spot every single time, you can have a little bit of darker hair growth.
It just was like 4 hairs. And I was like,
it's nothing crazy.
Laser, I don't want that. Like,
it's not like you're going to like grow hair on your chest.
And I'm like, let's really like focus on the clitoris, let's get it close to all that area.
Because testosterone's a vasodilator. So why the hell not put it there? So this is my biggest pet peeve. So if you're listening right now and you're on testosterone therapy, if you are putting it on your arm and touching your child, please, for the love of everything, put it on the upper inner thigh or directly to the labia.
Why are they putting it on their arm?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of research out there and education and other providers that will say the thinnest part of your skin is here. I was talking to a hairdresser about this and I said, God, you see a lot of pediatric I call them pediatric patients. She calls them little kids, right? Yeah. And I said, you're putting this here and you're cutting kids' hair. Yikes, and that's like it's not rocket science. And so to all my other providers out there that are telling patients to apply it there, like we all know there's risk of transference, right? So put it upper inner thigh or directly to labia. The one person, the people that are in that area is a male most of the time or another female, right? It's not going to hurt them.
Yeah,
but it can hurt the kids.
What could happen to kids?
They can go through early puberty.
Okay, and we see a lot of that.
And you don't want that happening. Yeah, no. So we apply it, and same goes for my males. So my males, this is what it looks like. It's a mega pump. It's actually a mega pump. So this is a male concentration. It's a male dose.
Yeah.
I actually brought this out here to show you guys because people like freak out about, is that going to be cumbersome to apply it to my testicles every single day? No. It's that much. Tiny. tiny little amount, right? And that's applied directly to the scrotum. That's the thinnest skin on the whole body. And same thing. There's no way that this is transferring to kids that you're around, right? And I don't know why I got to tell people this, but wash your freaking hands after you apply this to your scrotum.
Weird.
Wash your hands and put this up and out of reach, right? Like, it's common sense is not common though. So anyway, it's a small amount, but that way you're not transferring it to people that shouldn't have it.
So this is funny. My dad, which I can say because it's my dad, he was on testosterone and he was doing injections and then had to get used to the cream. And I had to like really like be like, Dad, you got to do the cream. And he's just like, I just feel like I got soggy nuts. And I'm like, Dad, just do. And he like it. Decipher that. Why do you choose a cream over an injection?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and again, like, any testosterone replacement therapy is better than none.
Yeah.
Correct. Like I will educate as much as possible, but it's ultimately up to them as a patient. I really like the cream, because the cream is applied daily. It's more consistent, right? So especially when you're building your testosterone, males and females, same thing here. You build the cream up and it stays at a certain level every single day, because with the injections, you're peaking and troughing and they have a 7-day half-life, right?
Pellets do that too, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So pellets are a huge dose right out front that first month, and then over the next 3 months, they trough,
plummet.
right? And so it's easier to manage side effects, because side effects to testosterone, if you get too much too quickly, it can be acne. It can be a water retention. So it's easier to say, hey, miss your dose every other day, or, instead of decrease your shot, so then only 2 days a week, you may feel really good.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the 5 days, you're like, meh, so you're up and down all over the place. I really prefer the cream too because of that. So like when, especially males, if they're just starting on testosterone, they peak their levels so high and then it troughs and they can get acne and those types of things. With the cream, it's just like introducing it to the body nice and easy. So it's just more of a gradual incline and then they sustain. So they can have levels of, 1,000 every single day instead of only 2 days a week.
Like I would know when my dad did injections when it was the tail end.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, he was like wanting to take naps. He just had no motivation. It was affecting his mental health. And now he's just consistent, which has been awesome. So
same thing for males and females though, right? Because females can do injections as well, but you're going to have more side effects with the injections. And then again, the cream is the only one that will rapidly increase good cholesterol to decrease the bad. So
noted. I mean, I don't mind the cream. I might increase a click after this. So I always learn.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Josh will be happy. You're welcome, babe. Okay. So I'm going to do a little covet this. So there's a product that's on my website. You may find this intriguing. So there's one for women and there's one for men. So On Libido is a daily cream that enhances and naturally boosts libido. So the cool part about this is it stimulates a woman's like want and desire for sex. So vasodilator is what's going on. It also creates like a physical reaction, but they do not the way it's delivered like a cream, kind of like what Haley was saying with testosterone. It's really important to feel turned on. Wanting sex is a part of women's natural state of well-being. So this can help your dynamic. It's just like any vasodilator cream that we've talked about. They specifically focus on the delivery of a transdermal, like placing it and how it actually works within time. The interesting one is the one for men that these are like new to my website. So I'm like reading this, so bear with me, but I'm like obsessed with them. So the On Sex Drive, as men age, testosterone levels can decline. So by combining a clinically proven bioactive nutrients with a proprietary, blend of a like DHEA, maca, and fenugreek, which I know you're going to be like, check.
Yep.
So this On Sex Drive helps restore those levels of testosterone. So they're both a cream. You can get them on my website. There's On Libido for women and then On Sex Drive for men.
And remember, DHEA is your building block to your androgen hormone. So your estrogen and your testosterone, it comes from your adrenal glands. Yeah. And it's needed to produce your actual androgen hormones.
Yeah. So that's what these are. They're newer to my website. I mean,
wonderful.
Awesome. The reason I love them is I'm an ingredient junkie. So they're glycerin and paraben free, which is really important because glycerin is like, I don't know. And I've said it before. That's why I'm so excited for Covet, because glycerin is just,
it's just asking for a yeast infection is what it is. Yeah. It really is. It's asking for BV.
Yeah. So We covered what testosterone really does, how it impacts men and women differently, stupid myths, and why advocating for labs matter, and you don't have to be in a box. So if you don't feel like yourself, don't let someone label it as just aging or your normal levels. Advocate for yourself. Find someone that listens.
Yes, that's the biggest key is somebody that's not going to treat off of the lab.
Yeah.
Like off of what you're actually saying.
Yeah. I was going to get confessions in the DMs, but apparently I did not map that out. So, you got a lot of Haley goodness anyway, so that's fine. Most really quick close just to wrap this up. So most common misconception about hormones.
Yeah. Is that that they're bad for us and that we shouldn't replace them. That is old school medicine. It's back when we were putting pregnant mare horse urine in ourselves. We have evolved.
Pregnant mare horse urine.
Yeah, that's conjugated equine estrogen. Equine horse.
I love that she knows her stuff. She says these big words and I'll always be like, she'll text me. I'll be like, speak English. Speak in Cassidy terms. Okay. One thing everyone should test by the age of 35.
Oh, for real? You
can only pick one.
Oh,
rude. I know. Okay. You can have 2. Okay. 10.
Yeah. Okay. Progesterone. So before 35 for females, progesterone, vitamin D, for the love of God. And then men, testosterone, vitamin D.
Okay. Another plug I want to share because I just found out about it and I'm like, sign me up. So March, we love March. We're here, spring. I'm ready. You're doing a awesome March dynamic for all the fun face stuff with Sarah, which you can give a little blurb about.
Oh yeah.
Get Sarah. I'm probably gonna have her on. So share that special with everybody.
Yeah. So we have a master injector at the clinic. So as we age, right? Oh well, I forgot to tell you guys this. Testosterone is what keeps us from having fine lines and wrinkles. Dun, da, da, da. Anyway, but when you're behind the curve and you have fine lines and wrinkles, we do have a master injector here. Her name's Sarah. She is just phenomenal, and she made us all snatched, and again, natural looking results. We're doing a bunch of different promos here at the clinic this month for March. And one of the fun things that you can come and meet Sarah yourself and get rid of those fine lines and wrinkles if you're working on your testosterone or if you're not. The week of St. Patrick's Day, we're doing $9 a unit.
$9
for neurotoxin.
What?
Yep. So as we're working on your testosterone or not, if you have the fine lines and wrinkles, we're doing $9 a unit. You can call and get scheduled for that week.
This isn't just for women. Bros need Brotox too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, I've never seen so many. She brought so many men with her. I knew it was a thing, right? But man, there are so many guys. And I'm like, if my dad would have done this earlier, I'd be dealing with the huge cracks in his face right now. You've got to be preventative. This is all very preventative. So meaning preventing future things from happening to you.
And if you're somebody who keeps your mouth shut because you shouldn't say it, you need to keep your face frozen too, because then it will be like you say it.
Oh yeah. I used to love that in the hospital. They'd be like, because when I'd have my Botox done, they'd be like, I can't tell, are you really mad at me or not? I'm like, you don't want to know. You'll never know. You don't want to know.
I love it. All right, guys, she was back. She was a legend. She always is. I'm sure she'll be back again. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.
Thanks.